Part 132. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1311. Feng Qingxiu pursed her lips and smiled, and said, "Yes, they are all packed in the luggage. I forgot which bag I put them in. My children are all hungry. Let's eat first and then talk." After eating, Lu Zhang looked at the honest boy Dun Dun and the frail Zhuang looking at the table eagerly, feeling heartbroken. "With so much luggage, I have to find everything." Okay, eat, eat." The two elders had no objection and had already asked their guards to quickly prepare food and deliver it. Xiong didn't have any objection. He sat down on the chair with his little bib around and waited with his mouth wide open. Putting his hands on his knees, he behaved like a good child. Impolite brat, Feng Qingxiu couldn't help but slap him on the head. Grandpa, parents, brothers and sisters didn't come to the table, and they didn't even take the chopsticks. "You were the first one, don't do this next time." Chen Rong said hurriedly, "How can children have so many rules? We don't pay attention to these." Lu Chen nodded, "In the army, those who eat slowly will lose their food. You have to rush to see who can use chopsticks faster." But the Lu family is very particular, Feng Qingxiu thought. However, after the second elder spoke, Feng Qingxiu was not too harsh on the child. Xiong was eating his egg pancake and looking at the various dishes in the adult's bowl. When the second elder took down his chopsticks and picked up the dishes, he would open his mouth wide at the second elder, showing his small white teeth. "Ah! This is a good boy." Chen Rong cheerfully fed him a piece of fried cabbage with chopsticks. There was chili in the dish, but he carefully rinsed it several times with boiling water in a bowl. The taste was not as good as the egg pancake. He vomited on the table and refused to swallow it even if his father slapped him on the butt. "It doesn't taste good," he said. Feng Qingxiu took away the egg pancake bowl in front of him with a tigerish face and scolded, "Lu Erxian, if you don't want to eat, don't eat. Do you know that there are many children who can't even eat this mouthful of cabbage? Do you know? Is it a luxury for children from poor families to pick up a few rotten vegetable leaves and bake sweet potato skins every winter?" The bowl in front of him was gone, and Lu Erxian cried loudly, "My omelette! Ask Grandpa for the cabbage yourself. If you don't eat it, there will be no egg pancakes." The five children have never been hungry and don't know what it feels like to be hungry, but Feng Qingxiu will not soften her heart and let them waste food. Lu Erxian cried so hard that he couldn't breathe. The second elder, Guan Cheng, Lu Tianzi, and Guan Yu all felt extremely distressed. "He is still young, what does he know? Stir-fried cabbage is not as delicious as egg pancakes," Chen Rong said. Guan Cheng also said, "Yes, Auntie, Erxian has never been hungry and is young. Naturally, he won't want to eat something he doesn't like. Don't be too harsh on him. Zhuang doesn't like eating when he encounters something he doesn't like. Don't you force him to do something. It's different if Zhuang doesn't like food, he won't eat it in the first place, instead of wasting it like Xiong." Zibao kindly said to Lu Erxian, "Why are you crying? If you eat the cabbage, you can have the omelette." "It's not delicious," Lu Erxian insisted. "The food in the army has no oil or salt, so of course it's not as delicious as what Mom and Brother A can cook." So Zibao never coveted the food brought by his two grandfathers from the cafeteria, but who do you blame? It's you. If you ask Grandpa, you should eat it. Lu Erxian wanted to cheat, but when he saw Dun Dun and Zhuang eating egg pancakes deliciously, his egg pancake bowl was far away from him in his mother's hand, as if she really didn't give it to him. He felt aggrieved. He stretched out his tongue and swept away the cabbage he spat out on the table. Like a puppy, he swallowed it whole and opened his mouth wide, "No more." Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1312. Feng Qingxiu then placed his egg pancake bowl in front of him, stretched out her hand and tapped his forehead. Remember, you are not allowed to ask for other people's food. No matter how unpleasant the food is, you must swallow it. What a waste. Seong pursed his lips. Mom, that's bad. I'll run away from home after I finish eating. While talking, he ate the egg pancake. We have to let them eat bran-thick vegetables for a period of time in the future so that they can taste the bitterness of the past, Feng Qingxiu said bitterly. Lu Zhang and his eldest nephews looked at the children sympathetically. Feng Qingxiu would really do what he said. Of course, Zhuang might not be among them, because Zhuang had a weak stomach and could not digest food. Chen Rong and Lu Cheng looked at each other without saying a word. They say that a strict father and a loving mother are not like that. The gentle Feng Qingxiu is actually so strict. She even has to take care of the children before they come to the table to eat. On the contrary, Lu Zhang has never stopped his wife from educating the children. It's not surprising when you think about it, because Lu Zhang has been in the military camp for many years, and Feng Qingxiu has always been the one who spends the most time with his children. This is good, and you don't have to worry about your children not becoming talented. In their many years in the army, they have seen many children go astray because their fathers were soldiers and their mothers had improper upbringing. No wonder Zhou Fengxiu always praised the Lu family's family tradition in her letters, saying that they were a family of philanthropists, and that they were kind-hearted from old to young, and were not the kind of ungrateful people. She could write interesting stories about the children of the Lu family. Full of letter paper. After seeing Feng Qingxiu and their children, Chen Rong and Lu Cheng finally believed their old friend's words. After dinner, the two elders took Zhou Fengxiu's letter and the things Feng Qingxiu brought in Zhou Fengxiu's name and returned to their place of residence with satisfaction. When they opened the letter, they found that they didn't see what Zhou Fengxiu said she had brought to them. They are all good children. They are very polite in their speech and behavior, and they are not coy or stingy, Lu Cheng said. From adults to children, from head to toe, their appearance and demeanor are perfect, which all shows that they have a profound background. Chen Rong nodded quickly and said in a deep voice, "Okay, we can rest assured and don't have to worry that we are supporting a white-eyed wolf. It is enough to suffer the pain in the past once, and to suffer the loss in the past is enough." Zhou Fengxiu was reduced to this state because of the fabrication of that white-eyed wolf, who fabricated countless charges and imposed them on Zhou Fengxiu. Back then, Zhou Fengxiu was versatile in both civil and military affairs, elegant and resolute. How glorious was he in the army! Now he has to live in a cowshed in the countryside to save his life. It turned out that the two of them were not here to meet Feng Qingxiu, but to observe the Lu family. Lu Zhang can't explain much, but you can know from his family whether he is worthy of Zhou Fengxiu's strong recommendation. The most important thing is that after Zhou Fengxiu was in trouble, the Lu family, including the children, did not shun him. Grandpa Zhou knew it from Zibao's mouth, which made Chen Rong and Lu Cheng very happy. While the two elders were discussing the Lu family, Feng Qingxiu sent the child to take a nap while the couple continued to pack their things. Everything was put away properly, and the house looked a bit like home, when someone knocked on the door outside. Feng Qingxiu opened the door and saw that it was the family members of the army living nearby. An old woman who looks no different from an old lady in the countryside, wearing a black slanted coat, and two young daughters-in-law who are about the same age as Feng Qingxiu. One is wearing a red cotton padded jacket, and a military green polyester cardigan over the coat, and the other is wearing a green cotton padded jacket. Wearing a black and blue tartan blouse over a coat, she looks very pretty. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1313. Lu Zhang followed and introduced to his wife. The older one is Mr. Jiang's sister-in-law Shi Xiaoqui. She has been helping our family clean up the house these 2 days. I was about to take you to visit my sister-in-law, but my sister-in-law came first. Shizuaki smiled and said, "Why are you so polite? I'm just here to see if you need help." Comrade Lu, although you are the leader, you are young, and your wife is even younger. She is new here, so she must be unfamiliar with this place, and as we follow the troops came a few months ago and have a clear understanding of the area, so there is absolutely no problem in being a guide. Then, he pointed to the young woman in polyester khaki and said to Feng Qingxiu, "This is Hu Shuixian, the daughter-in-law of Mr. Du Hong's family, and that is Li Pan Pan, the daughter-in-law of Mr. Zhao Yun's family." The two of them were in shock. When they heard Shizui's introduction, they hurriedly said to Feng Qingxiu, "Sister-in-law." "Hello," Feng Qingxiu quickly responded with a polite smile, "It's cold outside and the wind is quite strong here. Let's go inside and talk." Until they entered the house, Hu Shuixian and Li Pan Pan still couldn't believe what they saw. Feng Qingxiu was too young and beautiful. Based on her appearance and age, Lu Zhang was simply not worthy of her. With such an elegant and beautiful wife, it was no wonder that Lu Zhang looked down on the female soldiers who were attentive to him. "Sister-in-law, how old are you this year?" Li Pan Pan was more lively and finally couldn't help but ask. Feng Qingxiu looked at Lu Jiang's dark face, covered her mouth and said with a smile, "This year is the 70th year. I was 18 years old in the 60th year. It was also the year I met a Zhang. How old do you think I am this year?" "I don't know. I feel so tired. Time flies only when we talk about age." Li Pan Pan swallowed and lost his voice. 28 years old? Impossible. I think you are at least 5 years younger than me. With snow white and smooth skin and a radiant face, even the 28-year-old girl in the art troupe may not be able to compare with her. With such an appearance and such demeanor, who would believe that she is almost 30? Young women always pay most attention to appearance, without exception. Feng Qingxiu pursed her lips and smiled, handed the enamel jars filled with water to them one after another, and asked Li Pan Pan, "How old are you this year?" 25, Narcissus is 1 year younger than me, Li Pan Pan said. Feng Qingxiu was dumbfounded. She had always thought that Hu Shuixian and Li Pan Pan were about the same age as herself, but unexpectedly they were several years younger than her. It seemed that the importance of skincare for women was evident. The cosmetics in the space are not in vain, she thought to herself. After Li Pan Pan answered Feng Qingxiu's question, he suddenly started to gloat, "Sister-in-law, you must go out with us for a walk tomorrow morning, and show those people who are gossiping behind our backs, and shock their teeth." "Pan Pan," Hu Shuixian shouted, winking at her. Li Pan Pan ignored it. "Then what can't be said? Sister-in-law Qingxiu should have peace of mind. Isn't it because we were young and married 2 senior officers under the arrangement of the army? What dirty words did they say behind their backs? There are all of them. To put it bluntly, don't they also want their daughter-in-law and sister-in-law to climb high?" Feng Qingxiu said hurriedly, "Someone is coveting our Lu Zhang? Tell me who it is. To be honest, I'm not worried about my Lu Zhang, I'm just worried that some people shamelessly want to destroy our revolutionary feelings, so I hurriedly he came with his children." Li Pan Pan was shocked and said, "There are several of them. Sister-in-law, please listen to me and tell me slowly." After the 10th chapter, another colleague left, so I decided not to stay up late, and tried to arrange the coding time reasonably and exercise frequently. May the deceased rest in peace in a painless paradise, and I also hope that all my relatives will go to bed early and get up early to exercise frequently, because the illness will not last long. By occupation. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1314. After hearing Li Pan Pan's words, Shizuaki smiled, but Hu Shuixian was helpless. "Pan Pan, Don't talk nonsense, be careful if the person involved finds out and accuses you of spreading rumors and causing trouble, Hu Shuixian said, and then said to Feng Qingxiu, sister-in-law, Pan Pan didn't lock the door on his mouth, just listen to it casually, don't take it to your heart. Feng Qingxiu pursed her lips and smiled, hey, you can't just listen to this casually. I have to listen attentively to Pan Pan's kind reminder. In response, Lu Zhang couldn't help but shake his head. Feng Qingxiu trusted him a lot, and he knew it in his heart, and he also knew that his own heart would only last forever. Could it be that his wife was so excited now because she was bored? When you first arrive in a new environment, look for opportunities to integrate into it. Li Pan Pan sent it to his door, of course Feng Qingxiu refused to let it go. Go and see if the child is awake. I'll calculate the time and Zhuang should wake up by now. Zhuang is a light sleeper and usually wakes up about half an hour earlier than Dun and Xiang. When Lu Zhang entered the room, he saw Zhuang twisting his body out of the bed, neither crying nor fussing. He looked back at Dun, who was sleeping peacefully, and Xiang, who ran to the end of the bed and slept with his butt propped out. The little guy was walking backwards. Lying down from the bed, just as his feet were about to hit the ground, Lu Zhang reached out to catch him. You are not allowed to go to the ground without wearing shoes. Being strong and weak, he had to pay attention to Feng Qingxiu and never let him get cold with his bare feet. Zhuang raised his little face and said, Dad, I need to pee. Well, now I recognize my father. Lu Zhang took him to the toilet to pee, put on his shoes, and the little guy walked out of the bedroom on his own. Mom, I want to drink water. Li Pan Pan stopped mid-sentence and looked at the little baby who came out in surprise. She had pink makeup, red eyebrows and lips, and white teeth. She couldn't help but said, Sister-in-law, is this your daughter? She is so beautiful, she looks a lot like you. Zhuang protested loudly. Li Pan Pan, Shi Ziaqui, and Hu Shuixian all groaned. Feng Qingxiu fed her son water and said with a smile, This is our youngest son Lu Tiangziu, nicknamed Zhuang. We have only one daughter in the family, and she lives with her brother in the west. I haven't gotten up yet. When they heard it was a boy, the three of them were stunned and looked at Zhuang in disbelief. Not a girl? Isn't it so beautiful? She was several times more exquisite than any girl they had ever seen. Feng Qingxiu hugged her youngest son who had finished drinking water and said to Li Pan Pan, Pan Pan, keep talking, I'm listening. Okay, Li Pan Pan thought about what she had said, and said, oh, I remembered, that Zheng Xiao is 27 years old this year, and she keeps saying that she wants to find a like-minded revolutionary comrade, otherwise it would be better to be in short supply than in vain. Who doesn't know her? Didn't she just want to get a higher position? She was not satisfied with the person the army arranged for her, and she violated her original oath to obey the order. If you don't want to, then don't force it. Later, the army arranged for an older officer. I never thought about her again when I was a revolutionary partner. Shi Ziaqui liked children very much. He moved the chair next to Feng Qingxiu and sat down. He stretched out his hand to tease Zhuang and said with a smile, the army arranged for Zheng Xiao to marry brother Zhao Yun, who was still the deputy commander. Brother Zhao Yun was widowed and had no children. As a result, Zheng Xiao didn't like him, so he took advantage of the 20-year-old Pan Pan. Who would have thought that 5 years later, brother Zhao Yun became the deputy division commander, which made Zheng Xiao regret it. Not everyone can become a military commander at such a young age like Lu Zhang. Anyone who becomes a division commander at the age of 40 is considered young and promising. A dozen years ago, they were all generals and senior colonels. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1315. After hearing Shi Ziaqi's words, Feng Qingxiu suddenly understood. No wonder Li Pan was quite hostile when he mentioned Yi Zhiwa, one of the medical soldiers. So, Zheng Xiao has taken a liking to our Lu Jiang. No. Some time ago, Comrade Army Chief was injured and went to the military hospital for treatment. Zheng Xiao was very attentive and did not let other nurses get close to Comrade Army Chief. Her own eyes gleamed as she looked at Comrade Army Chief. It's like looking at a piece of fat. Li Pan continued, I'm telling you, sister-in-law, you have to be careful and be on guard. That Zheng Xiao is arrogant and unscrupulous in doing things. Just wait. It would be so proud to marry someone with a higher rank than our old Zhao. Feng Qingxiu did not answer Li Pan's words, but turned to look at the big fat Lu Jiang in Zheng Xiao's mouth. Are you injured? When? Why didn't I hear you mention it? Where was the injury? Is it serious? Let me know later. Have a look. She is a doctor, and she has the final say whether the recovery is good or not. It's okay. It's fine. It's just a small injury. I applied some anti-inflammatory medicine, Lu Jiang said hurriedly. Looking at his wife's eyes, he immediately raised his hand. It's really okay. If you don't believe me, you will check it yourself later. Shi Xiaoqi then said, Comrade Commander of the army was injured because he was trying to save a soldier. Everyone is impressed. Treating soldiers as relatives is one of the reasons why everyone supports Lu Jiang. Hu Shuixian noticed the content of Lu Jiang's words. Comrade Commander of the army asks sister-in-law to check the wound. Does sister-in-law know medical skills? Lu Jiang looked proud. Of course, my comrade Qingxiu is a doctor. He studied under Comrade Guoming, who was beside the old leader. He also learned medical skills from Comrade Guoming's classmates and sister Wang Sanbao and others. Also she has taught in surgery, internal medicine, gynecology, and pediatrics. She worked in the army for several years and won first-class merit. When she was discharged from the army, she applied for discharge because of her health and her children. Although I have stopped working over the past few years, I have not stopped studying medicine. On the contrary, because of her quiet study, she often communicated with Guoming, communicated face-to-face with Wu Zheng, and also communicated with Master and Sister Guancheng. Feng Qingxiu's attainments in traditional Chinese medicine were further advanced. So my sister-in-law is a doctor. Li Pan slapped her thigh. Look at Zheng Xiao, her eyes are higher than her head. Feng Qingxiu was puzzled. Hu Shuixian pursed her lips and smiled, and explained, Zheng Xiao joined the army at the age of 16. First she was an art soldier, and then she was transferred to the medical team. After 10 years of study and medical practice, many people said that her medical skills are very good. Yes, she is very popular in the army, but according to Comrade Army Commander, none of the 10 Zheng Xiaos are as good as my sister-in-law. First-class merit is not something that anyone can achieve immediately. The brothers and sisters Guoming and Wang Sanbao are both famous doctors, especially Guoming. Now they stay with the old leaders and work for their health. Shi Xiaoqi suddenly said, wait a minute, Comrade Qingxiu, are you studying under Dr. Guoming Guo? Yes, Feng Qingxiu nodded, somewhat confused as to what Shi Xiaoqi meant by the sentence. Isn't Comrade Zhan Yueying your senior brother? Hearing Zhan Yueying's name, Feng Qingxiu instantly remembered what her master and his wife had said. Yes, my senior brother's name is Zhan Yueying. I heard that he works in Shanghai, but I have never seen him, and I don't know his current situation. Guoming's wife, Guolashi, was very worried about Zhan Yueying at the time and said that contacting him with news was like a mud cow entering the sea. Feng Qingxiu asked He Hongjun about it and said that this person was transferred away very early and was not in Shanghai. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1316. Shizuiqi immediately smiled after hearing Feng Qingxiu's words. Sister-in-law, why are you laughing? Feng Qingxiu felt very strange. Does sister-in-law know my senior brother? I know, how could I not know him? Shizuiqi continued to laugh, smiling happily. Comrade Zhang Yueying saved my old Jiang's life. There were no antibiotics at that time, so he saved his life with Chinese medicinal materials. So, when Comrade Army Commander said that you studied under Dr. Guoming, I thought of him. Do you know where he is? There has been no news about him in recent years. It is true that you can meet relevant people wherever you go. Feng Qingxiu shook her head and sighed softly. We have no news about senior brother Yueying. I also wonder if my sister-in-law knows his whereabouts. Shizuiqi was a little disappointed. So you don't know either? Li Panpan interrupted anxiously. Sister-in-law Zhang, let me continue talking. You see, sister-in-law Qingxiu is the junior sister of Mr. Jiang's savior. We should remind her that the size of the family compound must be kept in check. Tell her everything so that she won't be confused when she first comes here and mistake bad people for good people. Yes, thank you very much. I was just going to ask someone to tell me about the situation in the army. Even if Shizuiqi and others did not make the trip, Feng Qingxiu would inquire carefully to prevent her from not paying attention to her words. Offended someone? Shizuiqi and Hu Shuixian looked at Li Panpan's appearance and shook their heads at the same time, somewhat unable to do anything to her. Besides Zheng Xiao, sister-in-law, you have to pay attention to two other people. Feng Qingxiu asked, which two people? A total of 3 lesbians covet Lu Zhang? Or are these 3 more representative? Feng Qingxiu glanced sideways at Lu Zhang, who didn't know anything about Zheng Xiao and was too lazy to listen to their gossip, so he calmly went back to the bedroom to take care of the 2 sons who were still awake. Li Panpan glanced at Lu Jiang's back and said to Feng Qingxiu, one is named Chen Fei. She is the sister-in-law of Master Ning Aguo. She is 26 years old this year. She takes care of the children of her sister and brother-in-law, so she lives in the military compound. This Chen Fei is not a good person. Teacher Ning and his wife have made several matches for her and she is not satisfied. She wants to marry someone whose salary is similar to or higher than Teacher Ning. A higher salary means a higher level, to put it bluntly. Even if she wants to be like a dragon and a phoenix, she doesn't look at her virtuous appearance. Pan, don't be so mean when you speak, Hu Shuixian reminded. For many girls, it is normal to want to marry a good family. When people go to higher places, water will flow to lower places. I understand what you mean. I don't think it's wrong for a lesbian to want to marry a good family. Even I won't choose a revolutionary comrade who is inferior to me in everything, but I can't go too far. People have to be self-aware. Li Panpan said seriously, the old leaders have said that they cannot destroy other people's revolutionary feelings. It is their fault that they want to take advantage of Comrade Army Chief. There are so many unmarried soldiers in the army, who can't they marry? Staring at the married man, Feng Qingxiu particularly agreed with Li Panpan's words. That's right. It seems that some people still don't take what the old leader said to heart. Tomorrow I have to see what kind of person is so caring about me. Confidence. Want to replace her? Dreaming. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1317. With Feng Qingxiu's support, Li Panpan became more and more interested. Isn't that what I said? Some people think very highly of themselves, but in fact, in the eyes of others, she is just a joke. Although we are not afraid of such people, but too much it's disgusting. Who is the third person? Feng Qingxiu asked. Li Panpan clapped his hands and said, the first 2 are easy to deal with because they are both rootless duckweeds, but the third one is Wan Lily, the daughter of Comrade Wang Qiuzhong, deputy commander of the capital military region. Feng Qingxiu exclaimed, "This person's background is not low. What kind of person can't he marry? Are you just looking at our family, Lu Zhang?" Li Panpan held out 3 fingers and said, "Comrade Wan Lily has been divorced 3 times, and her 6 children have been given to 3 ex-husbands. She is more divorced than Comrade Han Aguo, who asked Comrade Army Commander to dance at the ball but was rejected twice. So, you won't be getting any younger," Feng Qingxiu said. "That's right, Comrade Wan Lily is 35 years old this year. I don't know how she has the nerve to covet Comrade Commander of the Army." Li Panpan puffed her lips. "Sister-in-law Qingxiu, you have to take it to heart and don't take it seriously. Some people don't know how they think they are fools. If you want to be a high-ranking officer, why don't you just marry an officer without a wife? You still want to be young, you want to be handsome, and you want to have status. How can a perfect person fall in love with a lesbian with such a face?" Shi Xiaoqui said, Okay, don't tell Comrade Qingxiu all these things. Let's briefly introduce the situation of the army compound to Comrade Qingxiu to prevent others from being resented. This is more important. Qingxiu, Comrade Shui, please don't talk about Niu Suhong in the future. She has no sons after giving birth to 3 daughters. When she got into a fight with someone in her hometown, she was scolded for being destitute, so not having a son is a headache for her, but they are both very nice people. You can come and go often. Feng Qingxiu almost thought that Niu Suhong and Lu Zayadai were the same person. Now that she heard what Shi Xiaoqui said, she knew better. "Thank you, sister-in-law, for reminding me. I'll remember it. Please tell me about other situations." Shi Xiaoqui was older and had a steady temperament, so he told her carefully. Hu Shuixian and Li Panpan occasionally interjected as supplements. There are really too many family members living in military compounds. Of course, it is impossible to explain them all in detail. I just want to talk about the situation of some family members who are with the military and whose husbands have high salary levels and have unique characteristics. Therefore, Feng Qingxiu had a preliminary understanding of the situation in the army compound. Just as he was about to learn more, Xiong rushed out of the house with his crotch covered and barefoot. "It's not me, it's not me." "What are you not?" Feng Qingxiu put down Zhuang and lifted him to a chair. "You came out without any shoes or even socks. You have grown up, Lu Erxian." Looking down, Feng Qingxiu was extremely angry and her eyebrows stood up. "Lu Erxian, have you wet the bed again?" Lu Erxian waved his hands desperately to show that it was not him. Dun dun wet the bed." Dun Dun came out slowly. "Bear bad, you wet me." Feng Qingxiu took a closer look and saw that Dun Dun had changed into a pair of cotton trousers. Lu Zhang followed him out, carrying a large wet mattress and the long johns, cashmere trousers, cotton trousers, and trousers that Dun Dun had changed into. Xiong, he is so dishonest when sleeping. Even if he wets the mattress, Dun Dun's pants have been wet by him, and he still refuses to admit his mistake. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1318. It's not me, Lu Erxian cried and jumped on the chair, his 2 white feet just alternating, and they alternated very quickly. His own cotton pants were also wet. Feng Qingxiu apologized to the guest and took him to the bedroom to change clothes and put on shoes and socks. Shi Xiaoqui said to Lu Zhang, who was squatting in front of Dun Dun and feeding him water, "You are busy and it is not easy to take care of a group of children. We will go back first and bring Comrade Qingxiu to our house to play another day, or we can come back to play another day." Lu Zhang stood up and said, "I'm sorry, sister-in-law. It's okay. We're not outsiders. We'll spend a lot of time together in the future." Shi Xiaoqui waved his hand, and Hu Shuixian pulled Li Panpan out, who was looking at Zhuang reluctantly. "So, When Feng Qingxiu came out, she only saw Dun Dun and Zhuang Zhuang drinking milk powder, but there was no trace of the guests. Hey, why are they all gone? I haven't heard enough about the situation in the army compound. Feng Qingxiu glanced at Lu Zhang complainingly. Thankfully I'm here, otherwise you wouldn't be able to continue to attract bees and butterflies. Lu Zhang handed Lu Erxiang the milk powder he had prepared for him and put his arm around his wife's shoulders. What attracts bees and butterflies? What a random description. Lu Zhang thought that he was not a flower. I don't know much about the affairs between the family members of the army, but the three people here today can be trusted. You can trust them. Please inquire carefully to find out. Oh, no wonder he didn't stop himself from contacting them and listening to their stories. Lu Zhang said seriously, Comrade Hu Shuixian is Hu Ping's biological sister. Hu Ping gave most of the grain we sent to Hu Ping to his parents and sisters. At that time, grain was not a small favor. So after I was transferred here, Hu Ping he contacted me as soon as possible, and Du Heng also supported me in completing all the tasks immediately. Hu Shuixian had the best relationship with her grandmother. The fine grains we sent allowed her grandmother to spend the last period of her life, so Hu Shuixian was the best. I will bring sister-in-law Zhang and comrade Li Pan Pan with me. Hu Shuixian is usually not very talkative, but he knows how to advance and retreat, and is very popular in the military compound. Is there such a fate? Feng Qingxiu was in disbelief. These teachers are pretty old, right? Lu Zhang hummed. Mr. Zhang is 57 years old this year. He and sister-in-law Zhang are the original couple. His children have been married for a long time and are not here. Mr. Du Heng and Du are 43 years old this year and are married to comrade Hu Shuixian. Originally, he said because Mr. Du went to the battlefield and regretted marrying someone else, Mr. Du wasted his time until he married comrade Hu Shuixian 6 years ago. Now he only has one son, who is 4 years old this year and his name is Du Zhong. Mr. Zhao Yun is 48 years old. After his ex-wife died of illness, he became a revolutionary partner with comrade Li Pan Pan under the arrangement of the army. Compared to me, they are not young. Feng Qingxiu remembered them all in her mind. Who are the Wan Lily, Zheng Xiaowu and Chen Fifei they are talking about? As Lu Jiang's wife, she is still more concerned about this matter. I don't know, who knows what kind of cats and dogs they are. The old leader has spoken, what can they do? Lu Zhang answered simply and neatly. After he was transferred, he was so busy that he sometimes didn't have time to rest for 2 days and 2 nights. How could he be in the mood? Pay attention to women other than your wife? He was somewhat impressed by the female soldiers who had made outstanding contributions to the army because of his work contacts. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1319. After hearing what the Lu family said, Feng Qingxiu nodded with a smile on her face. That's true. The words of the old leader are no less than the imperial edicts of the old days. Lu Zhang then said to Feng Qingxiu, don't listen to the wind. My current status is extraordinary. Guards follow me every day. There is no work reason. No one can get close to me if they want. Feng Qingxiu smiled, then I have to thank the comrades of the guards. I have to be kind to them and ask them to be more dedicated. You are very kind to them, and they all say good things to you every time I send something. I never forget to tell myself to give some to the staff around me. Who doesn't keep it in mind? Especially the guard Ping Zhenkai who followed him. Ping Zhenkai is the most skilled member of the guard group and once won the leader in the martial arts competition. Although Lu Zhang asked Ping Zhenkai to go back to rest because his wife and children came over, he did not really go back. He always stuck to his post and took the initiative to help with washing clothes and cooking. Comrade Genkai, you don't have to do the work, we can just do it ourselves. Feng Qingxiu came out and saw Ping Genkai diapering Xiangxiang's pants in Dun Dun. She hurriedly spoke, feeling a little embarrassed. After seeing that he was using cold water, she couldn't bear it. I couldn't help but feel distressed. How did you use cold water? Aren't your hands cold? Come in and have a rest. Ajong, give Genkai some snake oil ointment to rub. It was red and swollen, with several cracks, and it looked frozen. Although they are not their own relatives, in the army, every soldier is a relative. Ping Genkai scratched his head and said, "It's okay, sister-in-law, I'm used to it. When I was stationed in the northeast, a fellow villager also gave me badger ointment, but the effect was not very good." "Why are you okay? Look at your cracked hands, why are you washing clothes?" "Soapy water is like salt." Feng Qingxiu felt particularly distressed. She snatched the diaper Ping Genkai was washing and turned back to rush into the house. Said, Ajiang, did you hear it?" Here, I just found it." Lu Zhang came out with the snake oil ointment squeezed into the cream bottle. "I was just going to ask you if you brought the snake oil ointment here. Genkai has frostbite every year. It's so itchy that he wants to dig it out with a knife. He has to find a way to remove the root. Also, have you brought the medicinal oil to treat joint pain? After dinner, let Akin and others take care of the children. Let's go to the house of some seniors. One time, they were fighting in the ice and snow, but they all got sick. I brought the medicinal oil with me. I just thought that many veterans had been to the northeast battlefield and might use it." Feng Qingxiu has not been idle this year. She has tried her best to buy medicinal materials and make medicines. There is still space. A lot of Chinese patent medicines are stored. In this regard, Wu Zheng and Guancheng master and apprentice were very helpful, and money was not wasted. There are quite a lot of veterans suffering from rheumatoid arthritis. Lu Zhang and Feng Qingxiu first visited a few veterans who suffered the most from the disease but still refused to retire. They all had some unique skills, and the troops also left the army. If you don't drive them, even though they are soldiers and not high-ranking officers, veteran generals have to salute when they see them. So, these seniors are all soldiers kings. The so-called soldier kings are eternal soldiers. They have been in the army for decades and are highly valued because of their top skills. Generally speaking, the army has the fewest soldiers. There are more in the Air Force and Navy. King of soldiers, Lu Zhang thought for a while, nodded and said, "Well deserved. I had a splitting headache and wrote 6 chapters in 7 hours. I didn't finish the task, so I continued in the afternoon." Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1320. Because they were medicated oil for treating joint pain and sheepskin knee pads, they were not particularly expensive gifts, so the veterans who had suffered from long-term pain did not refuse the kindness and felt warm in their hearts. Let me ask, who doesn't want to be remembered? Although they all went to the battlefield willingly and suffered from this pain without any regrets, only with a firm patriotism, the feeling of being forgotten or missed was completely different. While I was grateful to Feng Qingxiu, I was also grateful to Lu Zhang for his hard work. If Lu Zhang hadn't been thinking about them, would Feng Qingxiu have come all the way here without forgetting to bring the medicinal oil? Did you also make sheepskin knee pads? Coming out of the veterans' dormitory, Lu Zhang held Feng Qingxiu's hand tightly. "How lucky you are to have such a good wife." He has been very busy recently, wishing that one day would turn into 2 days, and his mind was filled with work. Although he was thinking about the physical condition of the veterans, the medicinal oil was carefully prepared by his wife, and the sheepskin knee pads were something he didn't know about. If the wife is fully prepared, then she is a skillful woman who cannot make a meal without rice, so it is the wife who is truly grateful. The weather was extremely cold after nightfall, and the wind was light and the snow covered me like a bear. I still needed a hat, scarf, and gloves. Her old military coat was not as warm and comfortable as Lu Jiang's, so she was now wrapped in Lu Jiang's military coat. What are you talking about? Don't let others see you gossiping. Feng Qingxiu shook his hand. Really, in this era, aren't men and women not allowed to walk side by side or put their arms around each other in front of others? Why does he care less about other people's opinions than himself? Lu Jiang said confidently, we are husband and wife. I know it better than anyone else, but pay attention to the impact. Army chief the guard was still following behind. As soon as he finished speaking, they heard someone in front of them chuckle. The voice sounded very familiar to the couple. When they looked up, they saw it was Shi Ziaqui and an elderly soldier whom Feng Qingxiu didn't recognize. In this era, people over 50 can be called old people, not middle-aged people. Mr. Zhang and sister-in-law are out for a walk. Lu Jiang said hello. Feng Qingxiu immediately knew the identity of the other party and hurriedly said hello. At the same time, she saw a joking look in the eyes of Master Zhang and Shi Ziaqui. Feng Qingxiu was a little embarrassed and quickly shook off Lu Jiang's hand, pretending to be serious. Commander Zhang smiled and said, I'm old. If I don't go out to eat at night, I can't sleep at night. Comrade Army Commander, where did you and your sister-in-law come from? You won't take your sister-in-law out in the cold weather? Wandering around? We are in a remote place, and the night wind is so wild that it feels like a knife cutting flesh. Feng Qingxiu frowned when she heard the word sister-in-law being called. However, the whole face was wrapped in a scarf, only a pair of eyes were exposed, and neither Mr. Zhang nor Shi Ziaqui could see it. In the army, no matter how old you are always called sister-in-law. The word military sister-in-law is not without reason. Unless your husband is of high rank and you are older, there is no need to call other military family members sister-in-law. If you have a good relationship, we'll call them by their first names, just like Hu Shuixian and Li Panpan. Although Lu Jiang and Feng Qingxiu were young, they couldn't resist the fact that Lu Jiang was of high rank and was the number one in the army. Feng Qingxiu calls sister-in-law Shi Ziaqui because Lu Jiang respects Master Zhang and because they are older, but Master Zhang calls sister-in-law Feng Qingxiu because Lu Jiang is of higher rank, which is obvious.